Do your citizens need a new dining option? Maybe you should build them a Waffle House. We'll show you how we did that coming up. You're watching the Norfolk Southern Sherwood subdivision. I'm Harold, thanks for watching. What we have done for our citizens is we've given them a new dining option in the form of a Waffle House. They're very common in the southeastern United States. And you can see it's a modern kit, so it wouldn't go with your diesel to steam transition layout or all steam, that sort of thing. So it's suitable if you have modern equipment. Furthermore, it's colorful. I mean, you can see it stands out. And it's expandable. Beyond what the manufacturer provided, which was basically this box where you see all the colors, we were able to add things like a lighted interior and some roof vents, which would be common in a restaurant. This would be the cooking area, etc. Today, in the next segment, we will talk about what I liked about the kit and some areas where things were a little more difficult and perhaps could be improved. Beyond that, the video will show all the steps required to assemble this kit and to put the lighting in and the roof details and all the painting. So please stay tuned for that. A brief evaluation of this kit from Summit Customcuts. First of all, you can see it's modern era, so it will fit in your modern era layout. The assembly of it is pretty simple. It's basically a white box. All the parts come in white, and you'll see that in a moment. With the roof, everything's provided. You've got the brick detail on the outside. It has a small footprint. The footprint's only 9 inches by 3.5 inches. So there are many places on your layout where you could find that much space to put in a small building such as this one. It's relatively easy to add other things like the interior lighting and the roof details. It has a good set of instructions. It shows all the steps required, and each step is accompanied by not just a diagram, but a photograph of what's occurring in that step. Some areas that I found were a little more challenging than others. First of all, you get a brick sheet and you've got to cut out the brick to the exact dimensions required for the building. And that was a little bit challenging. Finally got it done, as you can see. Some parts fitting was required, and I don't think that's unusual in a kit. In particular, this face right here was a little too wide for where it's supposed to go, so I had to do a little trimming. Not a big deal, but something that you had to do. Well, I said earlier that the assembly of the structure was very easy. The opposite can be said about painting. Kit came as all white part, so everything you see here has been painted. And I think I counted them, there are 6 different colors. And the kit instructions say, essentially, put the whole kit together and then paint it. Well, you can't really do that because of things like the underside. You can't even see it in the underside of the awnings are silver. Now, if you waited and put the whole kit together and then tried to do that, that would be really difficult, especially with an airbrush. My approach was to build the basic structure and paint the items that go onto the structure, like the billboard, the awning, and the windows separately, and apply them as they needed to be applied according to the steps in the instructions. I think that worked out well. Difficulty painting would include things like that yellow stripe along the top where it meshes with the grimy black of the roof. That was really difficult to do. Beyond the painting is the paint itself. The instructions come with suggested colors made by Flowcool. And they also, the instructions that is, also acknowledge that Flowcool doesn't make paints anymore. So you're left with paint matching according to what you think looks right. In my case, I used paint that I had on hand, and I think it turned out okay. The most difficult part of this, the lettering. These are individual plastic pieces that came in white. You have to paint them, and then you have to apply them individually on here, here, and on the back. So that was challenging, time-consuming, and very difficult to get correct. In fact, as you look at it, I'm sure you can see that maybe I didn't get it perfect. The manufacturer, in recognition of this difficulty, provided a template that you put underneath here and then fit the letters into that template, and that was very useful. Would I do this again? I would do this again. I think it's a kit that's suitable for my layout. It doesn't take up much space, and I like its colorful nature. Obviously, I wouldn't build another Waffle House, but Summit Customcuts has a variety of mostly modern buildings in HO scale and some in N scale that if you have a modern era layout, you might find them suitable for some place in your layout. So check them out when you have a chance. In the remainder of this video, you'll see how we put all the parts together, you'll see how we did the roofs and the painting, and I think you'll get a sense that it's pretty easy to assemble and pretty challenging to paint. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. If you're not familiar, Waffle House is a casual dining restaurant that's very common in the southeastern United States. They have approximately 2,100 locations, and we can see from the pictures there are a variety of different versions. Some have the red awning, some have the brick here, others do not have the brick here. We're going to go with the manufacturer's version, which looks like this. The kit that we're using is from Summit Customcuts. It's an HO scale kit. And the kit, it comes in a plastic bag, and you get all these parts. You get the floor and the roof and the windows and the sidewalls and the awnings. You get the Waffle House name that goes in the building. You get a really tall Waffle House sign with names. You get glazing and windows. And you also get this brick sheet. And part of the exercise is to cut the brick sheet so that it goes in the proper places on the sides of the building. A full set of instructions is included. Unfortunately, it's in black and white, but it's a pretty good description of what we need to do. Essentially what you do is you build a box from all these parts that represents the restaurant, and then you paint various parts of it red, brick red, brownish red, silver, and black. So the assembly will be put all these parts together and get out your masking tape and the airbrush and apply the appropriate colors. So stick with us and we'll show you how we're doing this. The next step is to glue the four walls together, and we're of course going to face the endless problem of how do I get them aligned correctly. Our manufacturers helped us with this because their walls have these slots that mate to each other and give you an almost perfect alignment. The only thing you have to do is make sure it's square, and that's why we have this. It's a gluing jig from Micromark. You place the two items that you're gluing together in their correct position. Put a couple of magnets on them. Make sure it looks okay. They're all pushed in, they're pushed down, they're square. Now we're going to glue them together with that. That's Fowler Expert Glue. You do want expert glue, don't you? So here we go. This is a very simple process. Bead of glue. And let it dry. We will continue with the other two walls, getting them together and put the floor in, and then we will have a box on which we can build other things like the awnings and the windows. Now we are on to attaching the other two walls. Previously we attached this wall to this wall. Now we're going to put the front of the store on, which is this wall, and the side that we're going to see from the layout That's this wall. So we need to be gluing here, 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 and along the base. What glue are we going to use? Well, that's what we used before, Feller's Expert Glue. Why wouldn't we use, don't you want something better? How about Fowler Super Expert Glue? Why are they doing this? Anyway, I'm not sure there's much difference. If you look at various places on the internet, you will find that they are the same price. So, we're going to stick with Expert. Choose whatever glue you like. And we'll make sure it's flowing properly out of our tube, which it is. Put a little glue on the back. And a bead of glue along the side. This is the area that we need to glue here. And of course, along our base. Real simple. So now we have our box assembled. There are a couple extra parts that go on there to support the roof. We'll put those on. The next step will be to prime this with the manufacturer calls for a gray primer using the airbrush. So keep watching and you'll see that soon. Here is the progress that we have made so far. We have finished our white box and we've put the sign elements in. Those are the elements that are going here in the yellow. You will see in the example here that there's a brick fascia, and it's on all sides of the building. I made a rookie mistake when I was putting this thing together. I cut the brick out backwards, so the relief of the brick is not showing in the front, it's in the back. So I have an order for a new brick sheet that I will add to this. What is more, there are some additional parts. These are the windows. This little pile here is all the things that say Waffle House. These are supports for the awnings. These are the awnings themselves. So what I've chosen to do is depart from the manufacturer's recommendations and paint all these parts separately. I will of course take my newly arrived brick sheet and apply it here, but I will paint it first for the same reason. So we're going to try to simplify the assembly by doing that. It should make the painting a lot easier, but we still have a lot of painting to do, including the roof and this part of the building on the inside of the roof, which get painted grimy black. Other colors are yellow, red, silver, and a brownish red for the, excuse me, and a brownish red for the brick. Furthermore, the manufacturer recommends that the next step in this process would be to use gray primer all over here. I don't have gray primer, well I do have gray primer, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use tan primer because I'm going to want to see inside, and the walls inside a Waffle House are generally tan. Here's an interim progress report. We have our white box here, and as you can see, we've painted it a tan color inside. That's throughout the whole inside. Furthermore, we've now put on the billboards, the yellow part. That's this part where the Waffle House sign goes. We've recovered from our disaster with the brick by cutting up new pieces of brick that will fit on the outside, for example, here, 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 and around in the back. And we've also spray painted the underside of the awnings and all the windows. The paint we've been using are these Model Air colors. I've used those exclusively on this project, and I think these are great for airbrushing. Right out of the bottle, airbrushes very nicely, covers well, and is easy to clean up. So if you're going to do some airbrushing, think about Model Air. It's a product of Vallejo, the well-known paint manufacturer. Some more progress to report. We've added the windows, but the glazing's not in yet. We added the bricks and went beyond the manufacturer's recommendations, and we actually used some mortar lines here so you can see that more easily. We've also done some roof painting The area here above the roof is painted grimy black, and we have here the roof. We've done something the manufacturer didn't suggest. We've added some vents to the roof. The layout of the space is the cooking area is over here, so that'll be this vent. The toilet area is likely to be back here, so that'll be this vent. And this vent is just in the back, so it goes over here in order to service whatever walk-in coolers they have or other such things of storage in the back. And we've done one more thing. We've added this little item. The thing that I like to do in structures like this that are pretty open is have some sort of interest so you can see something that's going on inside the building. So what I've fabricated is, from pictures on the internet, the things that you would see inside a Waffle House from all three sides that are visible. And I've made a little box to separate that. I've attached to it 4 Woodland Scenics Just Plug lights, and this black thing right here is a port sharing device also from Woodland Scenics. So when we install this, we only have to run one wire to our Woodland Scenics setup. I'll show you how this goes in here. More or less like that, and you can see that from the exterior you have a view that shows you that something is going on inside the building. This is the progress we have made to date. We have added the awnings. After we did all that, we took the thing outside and gave it a spray of Testors Dullcoat to tone down the otherwise gaudy appearance.